Hello! I thought that today I would actually talk to you rather than write to you. I thought that at the moment I'm sure a lot of people are quite busy and maybe just having things straight out on a video might be a little bit easier. So what I want to talk to you about is new beginnings. Now, of course, if you're in the United States, your kids have either just started school or they're about to. It might be tomorrow, or it might be next week. If you are in some other parts of the world, it might be in a couple of weeks, but school is around the corner. Now, for those of you who are in different parts of the world where maybe your school year is backwards because of different seasons, like if you're in Australia or in New Zealand, or I know there's a few other places in the world where school doesn't exactly start when we start. This is going to apply to you as well, because new beginnings can be really at any time, and that's the marvel about school, really. You can decide one day that you want to start anew and do better. So this is what I want to talk to you about. For those of you who have kids that are just about to start school again for a new year, I can tell you that at this moment they are full of anticipation, and it's not always positive or negative anticipation. It's going to be a bit of a mix of everything, because they're going to remember what they experienced last year, and that's going to affect them. So right now, let's say maybe last year they were not doing too well in math or something, or in science or in English, whatever, but let's take math. So they were not doing too good in math. So they're going to go to their math class. It's going to be a new teacher, it's going to be completely new topics, but they're going to have a certain attitude towards that based on what they already know, okay? Now, what is the reality? Well, they could have, first of all, a new teacher that relates to them much better, and they could do a lot better, but they don't know that yet, okay? Or it could be new topics, completely new topics that they really love, and that are going to be something that they relate more, or that's easier for them, and they're going to become top of the class in math. They don't know that yet. And what's going to happen, because of their limiting beliefs that are based on what happened last year, or maybe the year before, or maybe a long, long time ago, they are going to go into their math class with a certain attitude, which is not going to be the best to be open to do whatever they can, because their belief is that they're not good at math. And that is not a fact. That is just not a fact. That is based on certain experiences that they might have had. It might be something silly as, one day they brought a bad grade home and somebody commented and said, oh, well, nobody is good at math in the family, so no wonder. It's not genetic. That doesn't happen. Now, on the other hand, if they are very good, let's say, in language arts, this year, maybe the books that they're going to study are not going to be as interested for them. Maybe last year they did, I don't know if they loved fantasies, maybe it was a whole bunch of fantasies and they absolutely loved it. But maybe this year is going to be different, and it might not be their passion, and they might not perform actually as well as last year, but they're going to go in that class with a very good attitude, because last year they did really well. And this is what I want you to really work on with your kids before school starts, or if it's already started, just get on with it right now. You need to get rid of all these limiting beliefs. I'm going to give you a couple of actual examples that have happened, just so that you can understand really what I mean. A couple of years ago, when I started in a new school, there was this kid who, was obviously really quite smart, but he wasn't performing very well. And a lot of teachers really couldn't understand why. Now, he had come from another school where there had been problems, and he was almost expelled from that school or suspended from that school. And, he had this idea that really all the teachers hated him. Now, the very interesting thing is that when I talked to this kid, he mentioned that to me. He said, all the teachers hate me. And I couldn't understand why, because he was brand new in the school and nobody actually knew him. So I kind of dug a little bit deeper, and I found out what had happened in the previous year in his school, and I realized that he really felt that the teachers had ganged up on him, but it wasn't that at all. I mean, it was that was his perception of the way things happened. There was a lot more to it, which as a kid, as a 12-year-old, he didn't really see what was going on. But he had come to his new school with this idea that all teachers hated him. So he came to class very withdrawn, and every single teacher saw that. He just sat in the back, didn't really participate, was always very shy. When it was his turn to participate, he would kind of stutter or not be able to know the answer. And if you asked him to write it down, for instance, he would know. But he was very, very nervous because he had this idea that all the teachers hated him. Now, from the time that he spoke with me, and I pointed out to him, I said, listen, this is a new school. Not one of these teachers know you. Why would you think that they don't like you? And that kind of suddenly clicked for him. And a lot of things changed after that because his attitude when he came to class was completely different. He had a very, very bad limiting belief there that stopped him from going ahead because he was convinced that everybody hated him. He just came to class, he didn't bring his supplies, he didn't do the work, he didn't participate, so he wasn't really trying. And then once he had got rid of that belief, things started to completely change. He had a totally different attitude in class. He started to enjoy his classes, he started to participate, he started to bring supplies and do his homework properly, and of course his results were better. So that's one example. I'm going to give you also another example from somebody you might have heard about if you have been following my teleseminars. About 10 days ago I did an interview with a fantastic person called Eric Redd. He's a former NFL player, and he played for, particularly his career was mainly with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And he had a very, very interesting story. He said that when he was about, I think it was in junior high, so he was about 13, that's when he discovered football and discovered that he really, really liked it. And he had got a little bit of trouble and he wasn't doing too well academically in school. Now, in order to carry on in that school and to therefore carry on with the football that he really, really loved, he had to completely change what was going on. He had really bad grades. He was going from F's and D's, and he had to go up to A's and B's. Only A's and B's in order to be able to go to the next grade and stay in that school and therefore carry on with the football. Now, most people didn't think that was possible. Most teachers had completely given up on him, and his attitude obviously went along with that because he wasn't trying. And then one teacher said to him, you know, I think you can do that. And in one semester, he changed his grades completely from all F's and D's to all A's and 1B. He did that in one semester. Okay? Now, limiting beliefs. If you had listened to all the other teachers, and if you had carried on to give up and say, oh, well, never mind, I'll never be an NFL player, I'll never play football, and I'll just, drop out of high school, and that's how it is, and that, life is not fair, but that's how it is, and that's what I'm going to do. He could have done that, but he chose to do something else, and he really worked really, really hard. Somebody gave him that belief that he could do it. And maybe that's what you need to do with your kids. But really start anew. Wipe out everything that happened last year. Just make sure that you sit with them and you explain that to him, okay? You started with a clean slate. Erase everything that happened. Whatever bad grades you had, whatever bad experiences that you had with teachers, it doesn't matter. That comes from you. It's your attitude. You can change that by deciding, this year, nothing that happened before is going to matter. And I'm going to start from scratch, and I'm going to do very, very well in everything. So, I want you to work on that. And as a bonus, I've also included Eric Redd's interview so that you can listen to him because he's very, very inspiring, and you will totally understand what I mean. Everything starts new right now. Wherever you are, whether you're starting the new school year right now, or whether you're in the middle of it, you can start from scratch, and it's you, it's your kids' attitude, it's what they're going to believe. If they believe that they can do it, they will do it. So take care, everybody, and my wish for you is to have your best year yet and ever. Take care.